In a city of timeless elegance, surrounded by a landscape of haunting mystery. People work hard for their food, on land.
That's the bladder.
It was the bladder. Just peed on me.
Or at sea.
Whoa! Got him. Or he has me.
It's the city of Savannah, Georgia, a coastal crossroads of the Old South, where a storied past, combining European and African heritage, rich, poor, and slave, lives on in the places, the people, and the food.
I mean, look there at that big piece of fatty, gelatinous oxtail.
So we take our pastrami and we make a pastrami and grit cake.
Y'all going to temple today or what?
This is a place where boundaries get blurry.
Whoa!
What looks solid often isn't.
Oh my God.
And the unexpected happens.
It was the most surreal thing I've ever seen.
As people here like to say, it's a city of secrets that everybody knows.
Then there was the night in Savannah where I went on a date with the Lady Chablis.
An unforgettable day.
I'm Andrew Zimmern.
How am I doing?
And this is Bizarre Foods America. Savannah grew rich as a port city in the 18th and 19th centuries. Today, Savannah's allure still comes from the unique seascape surrounding it. Off the coast of Savannah are the Sea Islands, a chain of about 100 small atolls lining the Georgia and South Carolina coasts. The Sea Islands' idiosyncratic culture finds room for a little of everything. Migratory birds, posh resorts, and scores of fishermen who make their living trapping crab, hauling oysters, and fishing for a whole menu of fantastic seafood. There's one fisherman I'm keen to meet, Jerry Galt.
Good morning.
An innovator and a custodian of a special way of life.
Well, this is pretty awesome.
It's a great day to be in the river.
A couple of dolphins. Lovely. Look at that. Here he comes.
Jerry's the third generation of a family that's made a living crabbing and shrimping in these waters. It's an endangered way of life, with his costs going up faster than the prices he fetches. That's part of what inspired Jerry to go after a different kind of quarry that nobody else around here fishes for.
See those two buoys? That's where we're going.
Along with his partner, Jim Reynolds, we're out here fishing for octopus, using a method Jerry invented himself. These are octopus traps, made from pieces of PVC pipe, each one tricked out with a cement floor.
Mitch is going to pick them up.
Yep.
I'm going to sling them over here. He's going to dump it.
Yep.
Then I'm going to put it back over here in this trough, and you just slide them to the end.
Yep.
Octopus!
The methodology is sheer genius. Octopus look for rocky places to hide and hunt. In this patch of ocean, there's a sandy bottom with no place to hide, unless someone drops in these cozy-looking little plastic bungalows.
Might need some lemon juice on that one.
In season, 75% of the traps come up with an octopus inside. It's my job to pull them out, using an arsenal of stinging citrus to help loosen them from the PVC tubes.
Go on.
Spray them with it. They'll start to crawl out.
Whoa! A lot of action in the boat.
And then throw them in this bucket right here with some ice water in it.
Get in there. The ice water euthanizes them really fast, very humanely, and also stops them from wriggling around. Got him. Whoa!
Octopus.
They are very, very active. And he's trying to run away just as fast as he can. What a great animal.
Sometimes the octopus grab other bottom dwellers, and you get an added bonus, like this soft-shell crab.
And you're going to eat this baby raw?
Oh, God, yeah. You ever had raw crab?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
How's that crab?
Oh,
It's good, huh?
this came up out of the water 30 seconds ago. Tastes really different, but has the same sweet finish. Tastes like crab marmalade. I mean, if you like oysters, you'd love this. Try it.
On a good day, Jerry can pull in more than $1,000 worth of octopus. Restaurant goers are showing a growing enthusiasm for these tasty creatures, so the Galt family is now shipping octopus to restaurants across America, who once had to go overseas to find a supplier. But some of today's catch will be going on the grill right here. Jerry's brother-in-law, Joe Monte, will be making a traditional octopus salad just as soon as I can get them ready. It's a matter of clearing away the debris in the mouth, then turning it inside out to get rid of what's inedible. So the mouth is right there, and then all the other organs are up inside the head. You don't want to eat the eyes. A few minutes over the coals, drizzled with some olive oil and topped with a dash of salt and pepper, gives the creature a whole new complexion.
That's great.
That's good.
But isn't that nice, just a little char in it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very
good.
Innovation runs in this family. Jerry's dad, Bob, is still active in the business. He's famous in these parts for starting up softshell crab and whelk fisheries when none of the other local fishermen could make it work. A few whelk will make a nice addition to Joe's salad. Oh, here, just throw them right down there, big fella. Try that. It's good.
Very good.
Right? It's got that nice crunchy grill. Joe's family is Italian, and his salad is turned out in a classic Southern European style. So you're doing this traditional Mediterranean olives, olive oil, lemon juice, parsley, onion, celery.
Correct.
Probably the single greatest thing to do with octopus that there is. In fact, this whole new line of work was inspired by Joe's family tradition of serving octopus salad at Thanksgiving. So here's a little tableau that makes me proud to be an American. A family where each generation invents something new, including a food tradition introduced by way of an Italian immigrant family from Long Island. All right. That is so spectacular. Americans just need to try this in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing food-wise with it. Because once you try this, you'll be eating octopus once a week. Wow. Thanks for sharing the day with us, really.
Yes, sir.
This is insane. If octopus is a new option more people in this country should know about, in the marshlands closer to shore, there's an old traditional food option waiting to be rediscovered. I'm on the hunt for the elusive marsh hen. Whoa! Memo to self. Next time, stay in the boat.
More this way.
Oh, my God. The saltwater marshes between Savannah and Charleston are home to a bird I've never hunted and never eaten. Hunting and eating marsh hen has been part of the way of life around here for generations. Today, I'm hoping to do both. If I'm lucky, I get to taste a piece of history, and if I'm really lucky, it'll be delicious. Captain Ray Crawley is the man to see for a taste of local tradition. He's a retired optician, now working as a charter fisherman. How long have you been coming out on this water?
All my life.
All your life.
I was born right here. Yeah. My uncle used to bring me out here trout fishing when I was 4.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really one of the only things I don't ever get tired of doing.
Hunting marsh hens means finding a marsh. Ray's heading for a remote spot east of Savannah called Wassaw Sound.
Well, Andrew, are you going to eat one of these marsh hens?
I can't wait. Seriously. Before we can eat them, we have to find them. Marsh grass makes a good hiding place, and marsh hens know enough to sit tight.
If they hear you, they just hunker down.
Right, exactly.
But if you sneak up on them and kind of surprise them, they get real nervous.
It's bad luck my visit came during low tide, when the birds are scarce, and it's harder to navigate through the marsh grass. Finding the channels where the water is deep enough to pass through. It's the last place you'd expect to find. Wow. Oh my gosh.
I can't believe that.
Wow.
I have never in all my years seen a dolphin up in a creek like this. He's going to freak out when he knows we're behind him. He's going to feel blocked in.
Unbelievable. It's the most surreal thing I've ever seen. Completely by accident, we've blocked this animal into a channel where our tippy, flat-bottomed skiff is between him and the open sea.
This could be a mess, y'all. That is a huge dolphin, too. He's going to panic in a minute. He's kind of figuring out if he can get out another way, but he can't.
I mean, unreal.
Because if push gets to shove, he'll knock his whole boat out of his way.
As quick as he can, Ray backs towards the deepest part of the channel. If it's not deep enough, I may soon have a snapshot of a 1,000-pound animal landing in my lap.
He went right under us.
Yep.
He hit us.
There he goes.
I didn't do that a second too soon. I've been doing this all my life. I've never seen a dolphin up there. If he wanted to, he'd have jumped into this boat.
Yep.
Or over it.
Yeah.
And he might have taken us out.
That's right.
With the channel cleared, we head back into the tall grass in search of the elusive marsh hen.
They got so many hiding places.
Yep.
Hear them? Hear them? That's marsh hen.
No way.
Didn't you hear them cackling?
Yeah. With the water this low, the tide so low, and it blowing in the opposite direction, these birds know they can sit there and laugh. They know the grass is tall enough.
There's two of them.
When something finally happens, it happens fast.
There you
Got
go.
him.
Hey! Now you're going to have to go get him.
Well, you didn't tell me that. All right, how shallow are we?
There's hardly any water up there. Look.
Hardly any water. Whoa!
Whoa! Take it easy. You know, this way more. More this way.
Oh, my God. Ooh. He's around here somewhere, but I'm stuck in mud up to my hips, and it's just taking me about 15 minutes to pull out. Whew.
About 10 minutes of this and I'm ready to give up. But Chris, our director on this shoot, can't bear to have his hunting story end without a bird in hand.
It's about 15 feet past where Chris is, and everyone on the team is like, let's leave the bird. But Chris sees this as a show content issue, and he will not rest. Is that fair to say, Chris?
Probably my fault.
He's getting that bird.
I got the number for the Coast Guard.
You may have to call them.
When we get back on shore, Ray's friend Dewey is there to help with the cleaning and cooking. Marsh hens are small birds, so it's lucky Ray's got a bunch in the fridge.
What do you do? Do you just breast them out?
Breast them out, cut the legs off.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Wings off.
Wing off, head off.
Other wing.
Kind of like it does.
Bang.
There it
There
is.
you go.
That's what it's all about.
After dipping the pieces in the buttermilk and shaking them up in a shopping bag filled with flour, they go into the deep fryer.
Oh, my. What a treat.
Good.
Fantastic.
Must be. It's disappearing rapidly. A marsh hen.
You want to know something? It's got the best qualities of quail or dove,
Like you were speaking of.
but it's a little stronger tasting. This has a faint hint of the salt water, and it's almost like its environment seasoned the meat. It's like the mildest duck flavor you could imagine.
I'm following you.
Marsh hens used to be a food staple in these parts. It's a tradition that changing times and changing tastes have steadily eroded.
Very few people have had the pleasure of tasting marsh hens. I'd say in the last 25 years.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who around here doesn't want to eat this? This is the perfect parable for why I wanted to come to this part of Georgia. A food that a generation ago everyone was eating and now no one is eating, and I can't imagine for the life of me why not. I mean, come on, don't those taste good?
They do.
Yeah.
Seriously, get out there on that marsh hen, people. Unreal. This, protein of the future. My work here is done.
I've discovered one all but vanished way of life out here at the edge of the sea. Heading out a little farther, I can explore another one where people once lived entirely off the land, and a few still know how.
And by the way, it's a male coon.
If I couldn't possibly be any more uncomfortable,
I am now. Beyond the golf courses and resort hotels peppering the southern Atlantic coast, there's at least one place where you can reach back to touch and taste a lost world.
Isn't this awesome?
this is awesome.
Defusky Island, one of the last of the sea islands where the past is still present.
Welcome to my home.
Meet Sally Ann Robinson, who was born and raised here. This is a place that I've only read about, mostly in Pat Conroy's books.
Yes.
Novelist Pat Conroy wrote his classic memoir, The Water is Wide, about his years spent teaching school on Daufuskie. Sally Ann was one of his students. It's just one small strand in this island's rich history.
And these are slave quarters, tabby ruins, they call it now.
Made of shells.
Made of shells and mud packed together. Some areas would have torn them down and just not had them around.
Yeah.
Thinking that it would have been sad moments, but they're not. They're really strong memories of folks who got us where we are today.
That's exactly right.
So,
Sally Ann is a 6th-generation descendant of the slaves who raised cotton on Daufuskie. Today, she lives in Savannah with her family, a nationally recognized expert on a style of cooking that's threatened with extinction. Gullah cooking. The Gullah are descendants of the enslaved Africans who worked rice and cotton fields on the Sea Islands. The islands were too isolated and too rugged for slave owners to live on them, so slaves here were able to maintain a distinct culture. Today, Daufuskie is one of the only places on Earth where traces of that culture still remain.
you have a resort area pretty much beyond this one.
Yeah.
You have some new homes that have went up.
Sure.
But we still have a lot of the old homes still hanging around and some folks living in them. And if you want Gullah, go to where it was born and the folks who live there live it.
That's one reason I'm here. To get the real taste of Gullah cooking in one of the only places where it's still possible. That is a beauty.
He's a big coon.
Sally Ann still has friends living on the island who can provide fresh meat when she's bringing company home for dinner.
All right, just so you know, Raccoon, it's your time for dinner. Hey.
When Sally Ann was growing up, there was literally no food to eat unless you caught it or grew it yourself. There is a lost art to this, I'll tell you that.
Yes, there is.
Everyone in her family learned how to cook an animal from scratch.
And by the way, it's a male coon.
If I couldn't possibly be any more uncomfortable, I am now.
And you don't want to cut deep until you know where you're headed.
Right.
There is a gallbladder in here.
Yeah.
You don't want to bust that. So
No,
what
not
I'm
at all.
going to do, cut here.
That's the bladder,
Yes, that is.
and it's full.
His private area. That's the bladder.
That was the bladder.
Yes.
Just peed on me. Thanks a lot, Sally Ann. This kind of wild animal can taste horrifically bad if it's not dressed properly. Not everyone knows that you have to remove the small secreting glands laced throughout the muscles of a raccoon.
Wow. Some coon have more than others. And you look.
And so those little glands, do they secrete oil and other stuff into the meat and then up through the skin and stuff?
And it tastes terrible.
Right. With the glands removed, it takes some vigorous chopping.
Come on, baby.
To fill a pot with the best meat.
Gotta put all your muscle into it. We had 8 girls and 2 boys. We grew up learning things just as much as the boys. Pop said if you like to eat, you gotta learn to work for it.
Once it's chopped, the meat will simmer for at least an hour and a half and then bake for another hour. Time enough to revisit the Lost World, where this kind of cooking was created. Daufuskie was saved from overdevelopment when part of the island was designated a historical site and the rest was bought up by a few wealthy homeowners. Even so, very few Gullah descendants remain in their homes.
This porch.
But Sally Ann still owns the land with the house her family lived in for more than a century, abandoned since her grandfather died. But it's still standing. I'm assuming back in the day, this was the dining room.
This was the dining room.
And so how many people would eat in here?
Everybody.
Everybody, right?
From the kitchen to the dining
And I
room
could
table.
almost touch everything.
Yes. This is the room I was born in.
Oh my.
How many people actually get to show friends when they visit? Here's the room I was born in.
Yes, it is.
Sally Ann grew up in a world that was completely self-reliant. 50-some families who were scarcely aware of the different world across the water.
We don't have the stores to go to. We don't have the doctors next door.
Right.
We live off this land. We go to that ocean. And that way we knew everything we were eating and we pampered and loved and stuff. So being Gullah is a way of life.
A way of life that evolved with its own language.
It's two English words, both chopped in half, and you say it fast.
So instead of come here, it would just be here.
Come here. Who that?
Yeah.
Benya.
Yeah.
Remember.
Sure.
You know, I remember you.
Yeah.
Where you to come from?
That's fantastic. In the 1960s, it was a beautiful world here on the island, but with no jobs, that way of life was quickly dying. Today, Sally Ann earns her living on the mainland, so she can keep coming back to the place she considers her real home. Her dream is to restore and live in her grandparents' home, a big challenge when all the material and labor has to be brought across the water. Meantime, she can borrow a friend's kitchen for cooking up a genuine Gullah meal. With our raccoon baking in the oven, Sally Ann rounds it out with a batch of crab rice, the kind her mom used to make.
My mother loved to cook, and I know I have it from her soul, heart, and body.
Crab rice is brown crab, celery, onions, and peppers with long-grained rice. Anyone could make it, but not the way it tastes here. Crab rice, pig's feet, baked raccoon. It's a traditional Dafuski meal, served up as lunch for Sally Ann's daughter Kia and some of the neighborhood kids living on the island.
Let's try some coon.
Good Gullah down home cooking.
What do you think?
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty darn tasty. It's got a very rich meat.
Yes.
It almost has a flat finish. Like, it doesn't last a long time because there's very little fat in the muscle itself. It's so good. You did such a nice job with that.
Thank you. And now you know you can barbecue coon.
You're the best.
Thank you. I enjoyed.
Sally Ann Robinson grew up in the world of 100 years ago. Electricity didn't come to Dafuski until the 1950s. The first telephone came in 1972. Carving out a life in modern-day Savannah was a tremendous achievement, but what impresses me most is she's never lost sight of just how rich her family really was when it came to the things that really matter.
So every pepper, onion, celery came from the garden.
We grew
The
them.
greens came from the garden.
Yes.
Coon was out in the woods.
Yes.
Crab was out in the water.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, pretty much you had everything.
We had everything.
You come down here as a kid, the day is winding down. Soon it'll be time to catch the last ferry back. But once you've entered the timeless world of Dafuski, it's hard to tear yourself away.
Paradise.
It is
Absolute
paradise.
paradise.
Yes. And we have the light and the beauty of the land speaking out, saying, see you tomorrow.
When the sun comes up tomorrow, I'll be back in Savannah, exploring the eateries that seldom show up in tourist guides, from soul food to seafood. And all of those sweet little bits of head fat, reproductive organs, and some fruit I've never tried. But no one told me you're supposed to peel it first.
Well, I have somebody peel it for me.
Say Savannah, and most people start picturing grand old mansions and streets dripping with a haunting elegance. However, the best food in town is served on the flip side of that part of the city.
Hello.
Hey! Tim Rutherford knows the Savannah food scene as well as anyone. He was a journalist for 30 years who decided to specialize in writing about food and picked Savannah as the place to do it. Mirandy's Soul Food Restaurant is in a strip mall where you might never find it if you didn't have a guy like Tim showing you around.
And the essence of soul food here.
Every town in the South worth its salt has a place like this. Thank you.
Cynthia Cornish was born and raised as one of 13 kids in South Carolina. She learned to cook oxtails and collard greens in her mother's kitchen. When Cynthia's not here, the restaurant isn't open. Everything coming out of this kitchen, she's done herself.
When I first started coming here, there were no condiments on the table because she says, I don't want you to mess it up.
The greens sure don't need any more seasoning.
It tastes like you're eating standing in the middle of a farmer's field. The greens are so smoky and salty that they're almost lip puckering. And I've never had them taste that strong and still be so gorgeous. Oh my. And you get a whole section of the tail.
Of all the specialty cuts, oxtail may be the best example of how this kind of soulful cooking makes something delicious out of something everyone else threw away.
You know, I grew up on a dairy farm in Kentucky, and we never had oxtails. You know, for us, that was even the throwaway food for an austere farm family.
I mean, look there at that big piece of fatty, gelatinous
And sticky's the perfect word. The fingers I've been picking with.
Oh, yeah. My lips are sticky. I can't talk.
Covered in the gelatin.
And it's what makes that gravy so good.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. When it's time for dessert, Cynthia's red velvet cake is lighter than air. Made the old-fashioned way with sour cream frosting instead of cream cheese.
How often in restaurants do you hear about chefs who go savory or sweet? Imagine the skill set that you can bake this well and cook that this well. Where did you learn to cook? I'm assuming standing at your mom or grandmother's knee?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can make a pound cake at 9 by myself.
Seriously.
I do enjoy it.
And I know how tough this is.
Oh,
it's
yes.
really hard to do right.
Oh, yes. But I have the passion. I love cooking.
Yeah. Give me another hug.
After finding fantastic soul food in a Savannah strip mall, Tim is taking me outside of town for some of the best seafood. It's on Victory Drive near the little town of Thunderbolt, Charlie Teeple's Seafood. And the first thing that catches my eye is the little fruit stand in the parking lot.
And look what we found. I always need to stop for fruit on the road, and you never know what you're going to find.
Turns out this makeshift-looking little stand has been in business here more than 70 years. It's all one family, raising fruit and vegetables, selling them fresh, pickled, and jellied. And I see a fruit I've never tried before, scuppernongs.
To me, they taste like the best Concord grapes in the whole world.
Oh, definitely. Well, I have somebody peel it for me.
You?
Nice. Oh, thank you.
So most people think it's weird to eat the scuppernong peel, but it's working for me.
They're crunchy. And then they get a little sour thing, like a lot of good fiber.
It's good.
I fantasize about finding places as authentic as this one.
Tell the truth. Now that it's just the three of us hanging out and nobody else is listening, this whole like, oh, we're a family and we're all folks listening, that's just for show, to rope the tourists in.
No, it's all family. And you are new
I love these guys.
Next door at Teeple's, the attraction is fresh-caught Georgia shrimp and crab. You know it's fresh because the people selling it are the people who caught it.
Hello. How are you?
This is a retail and a wholesale seafood operation. Charlie Teeple is the second-generation boss of the operation, and Gail Jones is his field general, overseeing the seafood boil made with potatoes, corn, and sausage.
There's a place for large shrimp, and there's a place for small shrimp. And with this dish, you just eat the shell. I'm just
Tender. Everything's tender.
and so sugary sweet with no little iodine or mineral finish to it at all. It is just like eating a vegetable. That's how sweet it is.
Seafood candy. Good stuff.
The crab isn't cooked with anything, not deviled or made into gumbo or a salad, just steamed, fresh out of the sea.
I would rather eat crab like this in any other way imaginable.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. And all of those sweet little bits of head fat and
Bits and pieces.
reproductive organs. And so, gotta tell you, we've been a lot of places today, but I gotta say, with Polk's on one side of the driveway and Teeple's, could this be possibly the best little acreage for eating in Savannah? It might be.
Square foot for square foot. This is it.
Pound for pound, square foot for square foot. I mean, low country, baby.
Absolutely.
You expect to find great soul food and seafood when you visit Savannah? Sometimes you can find something you might never expect. A cooking genre they call Southern Kosher. Anyone for pastrami and grits?
Y'all come back to Temple, you hear?
And later, I'll be exploring the more eccentric side of Savannah, made famous by the bestseller Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. and proudly represented by one of that story's star characters.
His first name is The, T-H-E.
The Lady Chevrolet.
But since we're in the South, you can call me The.
For a Jewish kid raised in New York, Savannah, Georgia might seem to be a long way from home. But the fact is, in the 19th century, the port of Savannah is where my European ancestors arrived in America. They didn't stick around. But dating all the way back to the early 1700s, there's been a small, vibrant Jewish community in this city. Today, that makes for a unique style of Southern cooking. New South Kosher.
New South Kosher. It's done for several reasons. To entertain us.
Right.
To make new things.
Right. Matt Cohn and Murray Gottlieb are caterers. Today they're preparing a feast for several hundred to celebrate the Jewish holiday of Sukkot at Congregation B'nai Bereth Yaakov. They've invited me to work alongside them and to discover what New South Kosher really tastes like. For instance, they'll start by making some of the best pastrami I've ever tasted in my life.
That is amazing.
And then, despite my protests, they'll shred it and mix it with grits.
And we make a pastrami and grit cake, and we cut little squares, dust it in cornstarch, and drop it in the deep fryer. Like everything else in the South, it must be fried.
And the cornstarch makes it extra crunchy.
Correct. That's
so
the
this is
ancient
already
Chinese secret.
up and out of the fryer.
Yes, sir.
Oh my! It smells awesome.
It's all right.
It's peppery, just intense corn flavor, very moist, and you didn't overuse the corned beef, which would have just given you a lot of cured meat flavor.
Right. I want you to
They
taste
use it
everything.
just to.
I want it to go in your mouth.
This is a corned beef sandwich made with the best cornbread you've ever tasted. It's really the net effect.
Wow, that's a great way to look at it.
I'm here on a busy day for these guys. Sukkot is one of the most festive Jewish holidays.
How are you?
Almost all the families at the congregation will gather outside to celebrate. And Murray and Matt are supplying the feast. Out of generosity or desperation, they've invited me to help out.
Oh, come on.
This is you, baby. This is you.
You're part of the team.
You are the man. You're official.
Unbelievable. I love this.
Awesome.
In a way, it's just like being home. I'm helping by making quick-cured salmon and preparing chicken chopped liver using my grandmother's recipe. There's even a gaggle of hovering, hypercritical relatives that could have been beamed in from a bar mitzvah in Brooklyn.
Guest judges to make sure that everything goes okay.
We have parents and aunts and uncles right behind you.
Yes.
She started
My
it
mother.
all right there.
That's Mom.
Mother Gottlieb.
Unbelievable. Because over here, the lady in the black, she's a harsh critic. I can tell pleasing her is going to be very difficult.
In some ways, it's an even tougher crowd than I used to experience in my own grandmother's kitchen.
How am I doing? Wow.
Wow.
That is very tough.
And Murray's got plans for my chicken livers that Grandma would never have expected.
Now we're going to take that and we're going to make an egg roll with a slice of pastrami, and we're going to have the chopped liver you just made, and we're going to roll it up.
So you're
Nice
going to
egg
use
roll.
my chopped liver
To make-
inside your pastrami egg rolls?
Absolutely. And that's never been done before either.
Wow.
There's smoked turkey shawarma, fried kreplach, and fresh blintzes, wrapped around what is, hands down, the best brisket I've ever tasted in my life. But through it all, the Southern influence is never far away.
We're still in the South, which means at our celebration, big hunks of meat,
Deep fryer must be involved.
Must be involved.
And if you have an event for more than 50 people, you need 3 or 4 deep fryers involved all at the same time.
Man, I love you guys. I love you guys.
It's a beautiful thing. The only way to improve something is to bread it and fry it. Story over.
It's a rainy day, but the synagogue draws a pretty good turnout for Sukkot. With food like this, why shouldn't it be?
Now, this is Granny's chicken liver that you made this morning with us.
It's very good.
Not bad. I like the idea of the mixed meat at the Carnegie Deli. I think chopped liver and pastrami is a Danny K. This is the Matt Murray and Andrew, the MMA.
Whoever it is, it's good.
My salmon seems to be a hit. So's the barbecued beef brisket blintz.
Okay, we'll have to do it. How to do it.
It's like a very mushy barbecued potato chip, and it's delicious. Don't you think?
Yep, they know how to make them down here.
It's true, they do know how to make them down here. Jewish traditions, making themselves at home with Southern hospitality.
I've waited many years in my TV program to look into the camera and say this. Y'all come back to Temple, you hear?
Amen.
Amen.
There's one more side to Savannah I want to experience. The Southern Gothic world depicted in the bestseller Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil is still here, and so is the story's most memorable character.
This might be the prettiest restaurant that I've ever been to.
Sharing the best dinner in the city with the most famous citizen. That's next. I can't think of another city in the world that's been so transformed by one book. The way Savannah was transformed and defined by John Barron's Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. The book was on the New York Times bestseller list a record-setting 4 years. It's a true crime story about a murder in one of the city's most famous mansions, involving one of its most prominent citizens. But it's really about the fascinating character of this town. And right now, I'm sharing a table with the most memorable character of the book and the movie, the Lady Chablis.
This, my first name is the, T-H-E.
The Lady Chablis.
But since we're in the South, you can call me the. Okay?
By her own description, the Lady Chablis is a preoperative transsexual woman and full-time female impersonator.
I'm gonna tell you about that girl, a heterosexual white woman, I'll play that.
Putting it more bluntly, she'll say she still has her man candy. As a sharp-tongued outsider, the Lady Chablis acted as a sort of Greek chorus to the main story and symbol of Savannah's idiosyncrasies. I'm meeting her at Clary's Cafe, where she insists they serve one of the best breakfasts in town.
And I must make sure that your wife knows that not at one point yet have you flirted with me.
Clary's Cafe, like the Lady Chablis, and like much of Savannah, still draws attention because of their prominent role in the book and the movie.
After all was said and done, it made Savannah more romantic, more mysterious, more alluring, more of a place you had to visit. And that's what I find about Savannah. You peel back these little layers, and it's just incredible.
It's just like feeling like an onion.
But fame didn't change what makes the place special, including the menu here at Clary's. Specialties still include pecan flapjacks with cane syrup, crab benedict, and something they call hopple popple, eggs scrambled up with peppers, onions, potatoes, and kosher salami.
This pancake is malty and nutty and sweet. That is how a pancake should be cooked. They've been cooking them here for 107 years. I think they've got it down.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Wow. You guys know how to do ham down here, too.
We know how to do everything.
What Barron's book did was paint Savannah in colors of Southern surrealism. I feel some of that walking through Lafayette Park and realizing how much of this old Southern town's public image is now summed up in the person I'm talking with.
I'm not a whole lot of people who were happy about my character being in the book. You know, okay, I'm black. Mm-hmm. I have a big mouth. I say what I want to say. Mm-hmm. I'm gay. Mm-hmm. When I ran into...
Must have been hard.
It was hard, you know, being black and loudmouth and all of that and not giving a damn. Mm-hmm. You know, there were some hard times, but those were obstacles that I enjoyed getting over because it made me so much stronger.
Absolutely.
You know?
You stand for independence, free spirit, and all those other things. And
I hope you were just filling my head up, baby. I'm loving all of this.
I'm so glad we got a chance to spend the morning together. I can't wait to go out with you tonight. That's going to be a blast.
Yes, this is a tourist town. Yes, it takes pride in eccentricity. But when it comes to the finer things in life, Savannah can be a true Southern aristocrat of a city. There are two of what they call mansion restaurants, magnificent old homes converted into magnificent food palaces. The Lady Chablis says this is the one she brought Clint Eastwood to when he was in town directing the film.
This might be the prettiest restaurant that I've ever been to. It is fantastic.
It's called Elizabeth, after Elizabeth Terry, who set out 30 years ago to combine innovation with classic Southern cooking. Today, it's owned by Greg Butch, a longtime server who is still dead set on waiting tables to keep in touch with his customers.
Here we have locally grown radishes with whipped butter. We have a mussel with a spicy smoked tomato aioli. And we have salmon with a fresh ginger glaze and a touch of wasabi.
Oh my God.
Right off the bat, you realize this is a place where they construct each appetizer and entree with the same eye for exquisite detail that went into constructing the house.
So this is the black-eyed pea patty. It's mashed black-eyed peas, some spices, on a curry cream sauce with vegetables and goat cheese.
Great, thank you very much.
Catch the mix of the traditional black-eyed peas with the curry cream sauce. And these are clams with truffle, ham, and cornbread.
Are you gonna? Well, yeah, I'm gonna take a bite. Wow. Crispy, earthy. You can really taste the black-eyed peas and the radishes and
curry. It sort of
curry.
reminds you of like a crab cake, but with the black-eyed peas.
And this is like the taste of Spain in a bowl using all low-country ingredients.
And that's how it goes for more than an hour. Perfection follows perfection.
Oh, my Lord.
The entrees are flounder on spicy quail hash and Berkshire pork chop with rutabaga, parsnips, and kale.
I'm very much into how chefs honor the ingredients that come out of their own backyards. Local flounder, local quail. The hash has black-eyed peas in it. It's just wonderful.
I love the way that the chefs, when they present the food to you, and they let you know how good it's going to be, because they're very proud of the food.
Tradition that innovates without losing a trace of its old world elegance. It's in the food, it's in the restaurant, it's the story of my whole day. Southern surrealism in the very best sense.
Then there was the night in Savannah where I went on a date with the Lady Chablis.
An unforgettable day.
Unforgettable?
Yes.
That is for sure. This is a night I will never forget. Cheers.
In fact, I'll never forget this whole visit to Savannah. There's such a rich mix of experiences concentrated in such a relatively small space. Some are well known, but evolving in unexpected ways. Others are mostly unknown, yet surprisingly vibrant. So don't be afraid to get off the tour bus and explore this genteel but quirky place. Just remember your manners, and remember too,
If it looks good, eat it.